we got a flat. First, we'll show you how to fix it using the AGM manual jack sport. And then we'll show you everything you need to know to lift your Can-Am Defender with this jack. Let's get into it. Now, if you don't have an impact, the first thing you want to do before you lift is break the lug nuts loose. That way you're not fighting this when it's in the air and it can rotate. We do have an impact though, so we're going to use that. One other thing you need to know is this is actually a 17 millimeter, or requires a 17 millimeter socket. So you are going to swap out for a 17. With that installed, we can get the lugs off. Okay, one other thing you do want to pay attention to is try to catch all of those like I did if possible. The reason is if one falls into the dirt, it's not the end of the world, but you do want to go ahead and knock that out, blow out the dirt, and make sure there's no debris left in there. If there's anything left in here when it goes back on to the stud, it could damage the stud, and that's something we want to avoid. So now that I have these, I'm going to put them in a safe spot, and let's get a spare. Okay, now that we got a freshie, we'll start the lugs by hand. That way we know we're not going to cross thread anything. Once we have those on, we're going to use the impact in a star pattern. That way we know that we're tightening the wheel evenly up against the rotor. That way there's no chance of tightening at an angle, which if we do that in a circle pattern on some cars, that is possible and you would never know it. You go to drive away, that wheel's going to center up and come loose. Then all those studs are, or I should say all the lug nuts are going to come off, wheel falls off, bad day. So cross pattern. All right, at this point with the wheel tight, if you have a torque wrench, go ahead and torque these to manufacturer spec. We're out in the middle of nowhere, we don't. So what we're going to do is take this and go around one more time to make sure that we are secure. All right, with that done, we can switch back to our 3/4 socket. Get this guy out of the way. Lower our jack back down. And get on the trail. We'll start with the rear lift, but first we need to grab our jack. Our hook and impact. Okay, on the Defender, because it's a low travel car, we can actually do all of our lifting from the side of the car. For the rear, we're going to choose this point here just inside the door well. If you do have a door, you'll have to open the door. The reason we're doing that is we don't want to, while we've got the car lifted, potentially have the car shift and then damage any of the exterior panels. So this ends up being the perfect spot. And to get that, looks like we got the right height. To get that placed under there, we have the jack in as far as it can. So the jack's actually touching the car, creating a second point of contact. The other thing that we're doing is having that pad in under the load as much as possible. So the jack's actually kicked back at a little bit of an angle. The reason that's important is as we lift, the car is going to naturally pivot off the wheels on the other side, and the jack's going to lift at an arc. And that way, when we're all the way up, our jack is close to vertical as possible. If we start with the jack kicked with the top in and the bottom out, we're already starting like this at ground level. And then as we pick, that level gets more extreme and there's a higher chance that the car could slide off the jack. So foot in, we have our 2 points of contact and we can lift. Okay, we have our tire off the ground and ready for our repair. For the front lift, we're going to pick up off the frame rail as well. Just like we did in the back, we're going to reach in. You can feel that thing about 2 inches in. That's the bump in the skid plate. So we'll take the jack, place it in all the way under. We're going to get those 2 points of contact. Now, again, if you have a door, you're going to need to open the door. That way you have access to here. With that in place, we'll run it up, make sure we have good contact. Okay, now we can lift. All right, your tire is off the ground and ready for repair. Before you go, 2 quick tips. 1, if your car is drivable, try to get that off the trail and parked on a flat surface with no rocks or debris if possible. It's safer for you because then you won't get hit, and it's a lot easier to work on the car if you're not having to fight debris. Tip 2, if you have an ice chest or a toolbox or a spare tire, or you can find rocks or logs laying around, slide one of those bad boys under the car. It acts as a second point of contact. That way, if God forbid something happens and the car falls off the jack, it'll catch the car so it doesn't drop all the way to the ground, saving you time and hopefully making everything a little bit safer. And that being said, today's video had one goal, and that was to show you everything you need to know to lift your Can-Am Defender quickly and safely. Because how you lift it matters. I'm Bryan with AGM. Thanks for watching this episode of How You Lift It, and we'll see you next time.